obligations like school and potentially work. So how will you be able to balance everything, and how will you be able to delegate certain tasks? Because as president, it's more on delegation and making sure everyone's doing their job rather than putting everything on your plate. So how would you make that happen for next year?
As I said before, I would assess everyone's strengths and weaknesses, and depending on what needs to be done, there will be, like, guaranteed there's going to be someone on board that can get that thing done, whether it's working by themselves or working with each other. So things can get done, and I can delegate tasks as I see fit. And in terms of my own time management, I do fall victim to poor time management sometimes, but I do plan on taking actually less units next year, because I do want to be BSA president, and I know that time management is going to be really important, and I know that I have to dedicate a lot of time to BSA. So I know I have to take away from academics, but I know that in the end, hopefully, things go in the right direction.
Okay, so for me, ever since I was a sophomore in college, I had held a position and work, and was a full-time student as well. And so far, it's so good. So far, it's good because I have not fallen behind on my schoolwork. I only have a maximum hours of 20 hours per week to work, and during the job position that I have is not a very high intense position. I can actually study during my work hours, and as for time management with VSA, I am capable of doing that because this semester I have attended not just VSA meeting but 2 additional meetings as well, which is ASIC Student Union Board and Student Diversity Commission. And I believe that managing my time I have done a much better time since my freshman year as managing my time as now. As for delegating tasks, I actually took a quiz on what kind of leader I am, and I was a delegated leader as described. Before, I had to manage 100 plus high school volunteers for a 3-day large-scale events, and I had to do so by appointing high leader skilled high school students to be vice chairs for the volunteer committee, and just working with them, delegating certain tasks that their committee was in charge of, really helped make that internship position that I had less stressful than it could have been.
Questions? No, Julianne.
So looking at the current collection of candidates now, you can see that they're all already friends with each other. If some kind of situation happens where there is drama between your fellow board members, how are you going to separate the friendships with the business professionalism that is your board?
So, being a VSA, we're all a family, and it does take an impact on VSA when a board member suddenly can't be there anymore due to personal reasons. But the strategy or my approach to it is that I would talk to each of them personally, really find out what the situation is, ask them, can you please, for just our meeting for VSA's sake, put your personal problems behind you for VSA. And if it's not possible, I want to do what's best for them, and if they feel that it's best for them to leave the position, then it has to be done for their well-being.
As for me, if drama does arise on a board and steps need to be taken, I know from personal experience that open forums are definitely not the way to go. Putting problems out there in front of everyone in CAB can, like, it's a negative feedback effect where it just it gets rougher and rougher the more you put it out there. So in terms of like making sure CAB is aware, like they'll have to know, but it's up to me as president to make sure that I am talking to those who are involved and make sure that whatever the situation is, it's gotta get minimized. And the way I feel like we could avoid conflicts is just through a lot of cabinet bonding, whether it's retreats or activities within ourselves. Either one, like as long as we're interacting and it's positive, there's no reason drama to arise. And then if there's drama, it's gonna be on them. So we're all adults, we all have our responsibilities, and
Please rank the following in order, one being the top, based on your priorities. School, BSA, and family. And social life.
Okay, so for me, my family is not going to be in California this next year. So I can't really say, besides that if an emergency were to happen to my family, I would probably have to book a ticket to Texas and fly there. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I can't put family on the scale just because they're not currently present immediately within my reach. But as for social, BSA, and academics, for me, I would rank social last. I feel that BSA is my social life, really, and if I put BSA ahead of social, it comes together. As for academic and BSA, this is actually really hard for me to decide because I love BSA so much, and to me school is not as fun as being with BSA and helping BSA grow. I would put, depending on my situation, I would put BSA before academics. But if it was an incident where I'm studying for midterms, finals, anything that's really pertinent to my academic grades, I would put academic first. I know this kind of sounds weird that it's like one or the other isn't before one or the other, but I really want to stress that it is depending on my situation or based on my academic standing for me to rank BSA first or second. Sorry, that was kind of confusing.
As for me, family will always go first for me. I was raised in close to my family, and that's kind of the kind of person I am. So unfortunately, family does have to go first. But on top of that, in terms of whether I choose academics or BSA, I know that coming into the position, academics will suffer. I've seen it firsthand, in myself and others. Academics will suffer when you're involved on campus. So steps have to be taken to prevent that from happening. So BSA will come from academics, but I know I'm capable of taking the steps necessary to make sure my academics don't don't fall on a really steep slope to where I'm put on AP or something.
So, BSA is an organization, but with any organization, there has to be some professionalism because you're the face, if elected, of BSA, and you're gonna have to meet people and do paperwork, and you're gonna have to network. So, professionalism is a very important skill as a president and as cabinet members, because you're also the face. So, how would you implement that in BSA for next year?
For professionalism, there's a lot of ways to quote unquote perfect professionalism. For example, email etiquette. The way you send out emails really reflects on who you are. So I know there has been discussion on our cabinet about email etiquette and finding a way to include that in next year's board. So I have taken that into consideration. In terms of Robert's rules and whatnot, that's a stepping stone to making sure we hold a professional environment in CAB meetings. And then to extend that onto our members, for one, CAB meetings are open to members, so if they do come to our meetings, they can see the professionalism that we display as a cabinet. But then also when we work with, let's say, TED festivals or other external events, and we're actually for example, volunteering with them or co-hosting, there has to be a display of professionalism because you are interacting with people that either are older than you or that quote unquote are above you. So you need to show respect, you need to show that you're willing to work with one another and to professionalism that'll come back.
As for me, I have been in multiple scenarios where I had to act professionally. I do enjoy networking with other people, and I take it upon myself to make sure that I display professional manner and attire as well. To make VSA seem professional and presentable to San Diego State campus. I think that there isn't a high expectation for student organization on campus to hold certain levels of professionalism. Where VSA is right now, we have not done something that displayed that we are inconsiderate or not being mindful of our campus. And if an incident were to occur where VSA's face was to be affected by a member or a cabinet member, I would approach them one-on-one and talk to them. But other than that, I really don't think that VSA as a whole can display unprofessionalism according to the standards of what our campus have for student orgs.